Hello and happy Thursday. Welcome to Green and Gorgeous. I'm here with Tori as we talk about our previous two wins and how we are looking forward to Sunday night. Tori, how are you today?
Not too bad. I'm a little nervous. I actually get my little triceratops horn in my mouth removed tomorrow and my bottom two wisdom teeth.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's my Friday, but at what cost?
Yeah, ouch. Is your surgery in the morning or afternoon or
Yeah, it's like right in the morning, so
well,
it'll be great. It'll be really fun from what I've heard. How are you
yeah.
doing?
Good. Over here looking like a golden retriever with my hair. I've gotten a lot of comments on it today that I look like a dog. I'm like, cool, fine.
Oh man, rough. I actually brushed my hair before the show and was able to quick throw it down because otherwise I would have also been on dog level.
I had my hair brushed out this morning while I was trying to figure out what to do with it. And my best friend, who's known me for like 5 years now, walked in and she did a double take and was like, and I was like, oh, you're making me feel really bad at 8 o'clock in the morning. And
Oh
she's like,
no.
I was not expecting that because it was just all
Oh yeah, I can with curly hair, like I can only brush my hair before I get in the shower, when I get out of the shower, and if I'm about to straighten my hair.
same.
Other
Or
than
if I
that, like
have
I
to,
cannot put a brush to my hair or it will be this big. Like it wouldn't fit in the
yeah.
screen. But other than that, feeling really good about last game.
Yeah. How was your Thanksgiving watching it and stuff?
It was really good. I was up in Minnesota for Thanksgiving, so I got to like hang out with my family, and I haven't seen them in like over a year, so that was really nice. Um, and then the game was actually good, so like that was also nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously we all know I'm the pessimistic person here out of definitely the two of us, and I was like, damn, like where was this team all season? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was watching a whole different team. Our route running, our play calling, all huge improvement. Um, we now have 2 wins in a row against teams like that I would think we had no business of beating. So good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm really pumped about that. I do think that the second half was a little slower than I
Absolutely.
would want it to be. Again, like we play really conservative really early. So we got to change that a little bit. Um, but yeah, I'm just hoping that we don't do just good enough to miss playoffs and get a shitty draft pick. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I said the same thing. I texted my friend who's a Lions fan and I was like, I don't know what team is playing, but this isn't the Packers
but
because
it
of the
wasn't
fact that
ours.
yeah, and he was like, "Well, just wait till the second half." And I was like, but
But that's how I
it
felt the whole time too. I was
yeah.
like just waiting for us to plummet. And then like
Yeah.
it did get a little nerve-wracking when they like literally like any points they scored. I was still
Mhm.
like, they're gonna fucking beat us.
Yeah, from the time that they crossed, I think the 30-yard line, right, or wherever they were, like right before they scored the touchdown, right before that, I like stopped breathing until after our guy recovered. I think it was Reed that recovered the onside kick. Like I was
Oh,
stopped
I was
breathing to
terrified.
the point to where I got like lightheaded, and my mom was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like,
Literally having like war flashbacks is what it
"Yes."
felt like. Like my family's like, okay, we got this. And like even Jared was like, you guys got this one. I was like, no, no, no. There's an
No.
onside kick coming, and we don't do well with onside kicks. So it
Mhm.
was like terrifying. But
Yeah,
it worked out.
that's how I was. Everyone's like, "Oh, we got this." Every one of my tweets and or like in the replies, and I'm like, but
Oh
it
no,
was
we actually never have it until it's over.
yeah. I'm like until the clock goes 0, 0, 0, 0, I'm holding my breath or
Even like
I'm
5 minutes after that, I'm like, are they gonna change something? Like you never know.
I definitely feel that, but it was awesome to be able to watch it. And you're right, having 2 wins under our belt. It was kind of like sad the fact that we won the Sunday before and then we couldn't talk about it because of it being Thanksgiving. And it was like,
Mhm.
we've only had 3 times where we can actually really celebrate on this podcast, and the fact that one of it got taken away from us.
Oh my god, yeah, right? Like we couldn't even like talk about like something good for once. I actually had a patient or No, we have a new student, a PT student at my clinic, and she was asking, and I was like, "I gotta go, like, I got a podcast or whatever." She's like, "You do a podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah," and stuff, and she's like, "How is it? Like, do you like it? Like, is it fun?" I was like, "It was really fun when we were winning." And I was like, and then we started sucking, and we've said the same thing for, like, 3 weeks in a row, it felt like, but now we're doing okay again.
You could literally stack all 3 of them on top of each other, and it would follow the same pattern.
Oh,
Improvement,
yeah.
no improvement,
Oh,
no
yeah, there was
improvement,
no
no growth.
change. And now it's like, who the hell is this team? I'm just, like, picturing, them, like, taking a little bit of, like, Michael Jordan's special drink and, like, Space Jam, like, all, like, during before the game. But,
Yeah, that was wild.
so now that we actually had, like, a decent game with multiple people doing well, let's talk about studs and duds here. Who do you have as your stud?
Jonathan Owens, Mr. 34. I mean, I will say I was exceptionally impressed because, like, I've always been under the firm belief that, finish out the play until, you hear the
Oh, yeah,
whistle.
till the whistle.
And so many players recently, I feel like because of the fact that the refs just absolutely suck, like, don't follow that same rule. And the
Mhm.
fact that, like, in the instant whenever it happened, I didn't think it was an actual fumble because of the hand position. It was so fast. Obviously, they weren't replaying it at that point. But the fact that he picked it up and ran it into the end zone was like, oh, and so as soon as they actually replayed
Oh,
it, we're
yeah,
like,
and it
that's a
was like
touchdown.
no one else was trying, like,
No.
he could have walked in there.
And the announcers were like, "That is the saddest touchdown celebration we have ever seen." Because he was over there, like, doing a little dance, and then eventually the guys ran over, but I think it was just such a shock that that happened.
Yeah, they're probably, like, over there just waiting for it to get, like, overturned or something, just,
Yeah.
like, worst case scenario, like, is the theme of this whole season.
Mhm.
So, yeah, no,
What about you?
I agree, like, that's really important, like you said, that's something that should be drilled in your head from, like, day 1 as an athlete in general,
Mhm.
but he was really, like, the only one that really tried
Yeah.
on that play. I had my stud as, Rashawn Gary with
Mhm.
him, like, tearing his ACL on that field, and, like, he had great stats. He had, like, 3 sacks, he forced
Mhm.
fumbles, turnovers, he got there, got, like, 4 pressures, and so, like, it was really good to see him, like, be back and like, come all of that because, like, it can be a pretty, like, mental thing, like, for
Yeah.
sports injuries for sure.
Like, it's just kinda like the, like, revisiting trauma when especially, like, at the place where you did
Yeah,
it last year. Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, definitely difficult, but I'm sure he, like, knew he was gonna have to have that happen because we play them,
Mhm.
there at least once a year, so, uh but yeah, really was really pumped to see that. As for duds, honestly, like for me, it was hard to come up with one. Like it really
Mhm.
was. Like I was like, I am reaching. So I will say like our dud was our second half. And not
Yeah.
completely, but just like it did not feel as electric as the first half. The play calling got a
Mhm.
little bit, like we said, more conservative. Um, and so I would just like to see better, but I wouldn't say it was a dud necessarily.
Yeah.
Um, Player-wise, I was kind of like just throwing Ballantyne out there just because, like, we've seen
Mhm.
him do better, and
Wasn't his best game.
he just let up, like, quite a bit of yards for, like, an like, individual stat line. So that's just why I had him as a dud, but did you have any actually?
Yeah, Fox Sports. Where is the turkey?
Oh my god, yes. Like,
It
I was
was
telling my dad, I literally was like before the game, I was like, "I kinda hope we win so that we can, like, get the turkey leg and, like, the tradition."
yeah.
And then, like, there was none, and I was like, "We actually did well. Were they just all as shocked as we were?"
So, like, that's been, like, the rumors, like, obviously, we don't know. I really hope that Fox comes out and says something, makes it right, maybe sends him a turkey, but obviously, I don't know what happened. Some rumors said that they only had the 1 turkey, and I guess Greg Olson was only supposed to show it off, and he stuck his grubby little hands in it. The other rumor that was circulating was that I guess they were so confident that the Lions were gonna win that they seared their logo into the turkey, and
Just
obviously
turn
then
that
couldn't
shit
present it.
around. Just turn
But
that
my
shit
thing is, I'm
around.
like, y'all are a billion-dollar industry and you can only afford
Mm.
2 turkeys? 2,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
fact that the San Francisco 49ers had a full feast, I mean, they had a basket like this, and the fact that Dak Prescott literally pulled wrapped turkey legs out of the Salvation Army bucket, like, the
And
fact
the
that they
fact
had
that we had to, like, withstand watching Jack Harlow at halftime. Like, wasn't that torturous enough?
My dad, I tweeted about it. My dad literally was like, "I'd rather watch our kicker miss field goals than watch
I
this."
told my dad, like, I read that tweet, and I told my dad that, and he laughed. No, because my dad's a big, like, rock guy, like, I'm very into rock music because of my dad, and so he doesn't know any, like, thing about actually, like, my whole family in there didn't know Jack Harlow. I did, and I was like, I've listened to his songs, um, and I was like, "But what is this like?" I was like, I saw a tweet, vacation Bible school-esque, like, backdrop, and I was like, "There's no money," and, like, the dancers weren't even good with him. I was like, "Oh, the dancers will make this better." No. It was, like, the worst halftime performance I think I've ever seen.
I think the best part about it was, A, the hype man behind him that at one point just
Was he
disappeared,
supposed to be there? Like, who's to say?
and then the TikTok that I saw that showed what the like, what Fox viewers saw, and it was, like, the up front, and then what the people in the stadium saw, and it was so zoomed out that they were, like, just saw, like, the back of it, and they, like, saw, like, the flashing lights and everything like that, but I'm like, "That is so
I was just, like,
funny."
watching, and I was like, "Do you hear how quiet this stadium is?" Like, I was like, "No one is entertained right now."
Like,
And, like,
it would've been
everyone's like, "Yeah, they're leaving to go get food." I was like, "I'd fucking leave too. This is
yeah,
boring as hell."
like, and Eminem would've been, great because he's from Detroit. I mean,
Right? Like
like, you really could have had better.
like, you had this little, like, Kentucky boy out there. I it was not good. That was actually that's my dud. That's it. Jack
That's your
Harlow
name is Jack
halftime.
Harlow.
Jack Harlow halftime show is my dud of the week. Next question.
Yeah, and I will say, like, the Cowboys, like, Dolly Parton, when she popped up in the little Dallas Cowboy cheerleader uniform, and again, like, everyone knows I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy hater. I hate them, hate them, hate them. I love their cheerleaders. Like, I think their cheerleaders have one of the best outfits. I love the TV show. I don't know if it's still airing or not, but, like, the Making the Team. Like, I love their cheerleaders. I think they're beautiful, and I love the outfit, the boots, their dance, the Thunder song that they do it
Do
to.
we say boots or boobs?
Boots, boots,
Okay.
boots, boots, yeah. And the fact that Dolly Parton popped up in a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit at, like, 72 years old or however old she is, and I'm like, "She looks so good."
But when she
And
popped up, I was also like, "Oh, I'm not ugly, I'm poor. I get it." Like, I was like, "Oh, cool, so I can look, like, really hot at 73 too if I can afford all that." Because it's no,
yeah.
like, surprise that she gets work done by any means.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's like, how did we get budget Jack Harlow and the Cowboys got a beautiful show by Dolly Parton? So just another way that
Just a
we
fucking
got
another cowboy deal, another reason we hate the Cowboys.
another reason.
Well, they're
Yes.
like, "What, like, artist can we actually get to withstand going to Detroit?" Like, that's what it was. I'm sure everyone was like, "Detroit? Yeah, no."
Mm-mm. Much rather
Mm-mm.
be somewhere else, anywhere else.
Almost anywhere else. But, anyways, let's, move on. So the Vikings lost on
Mhm.
Monday, which was a disgusting game,
Yeah.
but very glad. And, like, I was, like, almost so glad that it looks the Bears played so shitty and still beat the Vikings, like, that brought a little
Mhm.
joy to me. But with the Vikings losing and us beating the divisional leader, like, do you see us possibly sliding into that wild card spot when the playoffs roll around, or what are you thinking?
All we gotta do is win out. I saw a tweet, that someone had put up that was like, if we win the next 6 games, we're in 100%. If we go 5-1, I think it drops to, like, 99%, and then 4-2, depending on the 2 teams that we lose to, it goes to, like, anywhere from, like, 40 to 90%. So I'm living in delusion land that we're gonna
Shocking.
win, that we're gonna make it, and I don't know, it's just kind of weird because, like, earlier we even talked about that we just like the season, like it doesn't bother us because of the fact that we're losing. We knew that was gonna be a rebuild season and like it's
Yeah.
okay, like we were expecting this. And now that I'm like Well,
But I'm also like,
actually
please don't do what you did last year and like get my hopes up because that's what it was last
yeah.
year. Remember? Oh, we just got to win 6 games. And like our opponents, like we were looking at, it, I was like, the hardest one is going to be the Lions at the end. And sure enough, it
Mhm.
was. And we lost to the Lions. And then we get a shitty draft pick spot. We do just
Yep.
good enough to barely miss the playoffs. And yeah, so I feel like our hopes are there, but I almost
Mhm.
don't want my hopes to be there because I do feel like it's going to be difficult. I mean, it's nice that Dobbs did so shitty,
Mhm.
like in that game, that I'm like, if he keeps that up, sure, we
Oh,
might
yeah.
just slide in there for sure. Um,
Yeah.
but we also have to keep up what we just did.
Mhm.
So
And if we had the first half team consistently play, then I think that we definitely could stay up there with, potentially even the Cowboys, Seahawks. I mean, all of these different teams, but
if we
it's
had
again
that
like when we
first half
slack.
team, we wouldn't have lost to the Broncos. We wouldn't have
Mhm.
lost to these teams that we should not have lost to.
Falcons. Yeah.
See,
All
the
of those
Falcons
games.
the Falcons is hard because with the Falcons and Saints games being the way they were, we really should
Mhm.
have probably only won one of those anyways.
Yeah.
But no, like there was games that it's like, damn, if we didn't play like complete ass, like maybe
Mhm.
this we would
Would have
have a
been
better
different.
chance.
Yeah, or maybe if our kicker didn't miss field goals or extra points. I don't understand that. I
I told you at the beginning of the season, like in preseason, I said kicking is one of like the hardest things in football. I think
Mhm.
I not necessarily I feel it's one of the most underrated things. And
Yeah.
having a good kicker, like you do not appreciate what you have until it's gone
Yeah.
and stuff. And like you don't realize how hard it is to actually replace a good and consistent kicker. And so
Mhm.
I was nervous about him at the beginning of the season for sure. But
Yeah.
he hasn't been terrible, like, it could be worse.
It could be worse. Like it
It
really
could
could be
be
worse.
worse, but I would really like it to not be.
Yeah, and I think again it goes back to the frustrating aspect of us losing so many games within 4 points,
Yeah.
and a field goal literally is 3 of those 4 points, and
Mhm.
if he either would have made the field goal, then would have been able to get us a better chance to set up for touchdowns or even, going into overtime, whatever the situation was, but it's like, at what point do we cut our losses because of the fact that we're losing? Like last 2 years ago when we played against 3, 2 years ago when we played against Kansas City, 2021, 2 years. We literally lost because of the fact that Crosby missed a field goal and also the fact that um
Jordan Love threw a pick
they
at the end.
yeah, and the other guy, Amari Rogers, he did what he did on the kickoffs, where it should literally just right through him, and then that allowed them to score 7. So again, just special teams just screwing us up. But I will say, special teams recovering the onside kick, good.
Thank
So
you. Yeah, thank
I
you.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but yeah, I really don't want to get stuck in that like mid 17, 18. Like
And that's what I'm so worried about. Like, would you almost okay, this is like a really shitty situation, a shitty question. But like, would you almost rather lose more if you know that you're just not gonna make the playoffs? Would you,
see, I
not
I feel
intentionally by any means, but
right.
like, would you feel it's just better to lose anyways?
No, I think like I'm a very big opponent of or like I don't believe in tanking. Like whether it comes to
Yeah.
fantasy football, whether it comes to anything, it's like you've got to go out there and give your 100% because for the fans that this is the one game in their whole lifetime that they're going to get to go to. Like they're showing up for
Yeah.
you. You got to show up for them. And so it's a very strong argument. My brother right now is like, "Oh, I don't like, he's already really sucking in fantasy football." So he's like, "Well, maybe." And I'm like, "Don't." Like I'm like, "I don't care if I pick whatever position. Like I'd rather go out there, play my best, give it my all, well, me play, right?
Yeah.
Than to than to just like not. And so it's just it's hard seeing that. But on the flip side, like if you're right, like if we're not purposely tanking, if we're giving it our all and we're still losing, then it is what it is. But
Then
I've
it's like
said
I'm
that whole
not
time.
like as upset. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we ended up with a top 10 draft pick or something. Like, not as upset. I mean, luckily, if the Jets keep like being awful,
Gosh.
we'll at least have a decent second round pick. What do you think about Rodgers, like, getting ready to practice?
Well, with you working in the physical therapy field, I mean, a lot of the rumors are saying that it could not have been a full tear.
It's no, because I'm like, that's what I was literally having this discussion with someone. I was like, I wanna know what surgery had. I wanna because so, like, for example, for, like, a rotator cuff repair in your shoulder, there is a certain thing you can do if it's not to a certain extent, and there's, like, a patch kinda thing to where your protocol is sped up a lot faster. Um, and so I'm like, I just, like, from a medical standpoint, I just, like, wanna know.
Mhm,
I'm just curious, like, the difference and all that. Like, obviously, him making rehab his job and being able to go to rehab probably 3 times a day at least and do it every
mhm.
single day, he's gonna get better faster than my high school kid that only can see me, like, 2 to 3 times a week. You
Yeah.
know, like, yeah, that's gonna be a little bit different. But I just like, I wanna know what the procedure was. I wanna know if they did something different. I
Mhm.
want to see his protocol. God, I, because like, just from where I'm at and like the education that I have, it's like terrifying. I'm like, he's gonna retire it. Like, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And also, like, they're doing so, but they're literally like one game
Bad.
off from being eliminated. That
Yeah.
what's the point of risking it?
Especially because they haven't done anything to improve the offensive line. So it's like they couldn't get you
No.
4 plays. They couldn't get you to 5 plays in the season,
Like,
and you really wanna go back out there?
I understand that they are desperate for a quarterback right now, like, they
Yeah.
don't even know what they want to do out there, but no, it's not worth it.
Mm-mm.
You know you're not gonna fucking make the playoffs, and I feel like he's going to maybe just, like, step on the field and, like, at the end when it doesn't even matter, right? And then,
Mhm.
like, throw the ball around for, like, 2 plays, and it's gonna be a huge deal,
Huge deal.
and it's like,
Mhm.
no, he did nothing.
Yeah, my thought process is it's a pride thing because
Yeah. Oh,
no one's
yeah.
ever done it. No one's ever came back in the same season if you tear your Achilles. The second thing is I doubt that medical information will ever get out there because of how weird his medicine
Questionable
thing
it is.
is. Yeah, the questionable, I mean, the
Yeah.
vaccine and him speaking out about all this stuff. And so I saw
Maybe
some
that's why
people.
he's healing so fast. Maybe he just didn't get vaccinated and that's
Yeah, he's immunized. They immunized his Achilles.
yeah, right.
I
So maybe that's what's really speeding it all up. I have no hope to heal because I got
That the
vaccinated.
what was it? The the dolphin sex noise that he puts by his
Oh,
foot.
yes,
I
he
mean,
listens to dolphin sex noises to, like,
yeah,
sleep or something.
it's I wanna know, but I don't know if that information will ever get out there because of the fact that he's so against
It's getting harder and harder to defend this
medicine.
man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and, like, now that he's, like, not on my team, it's like, "Oh, I don't really care."
He's
But it's like, he did
crazy.
do so much for our team that it's
Mhm.
hard still. And, like, I have patients or, like, when I tell I'm a Packers fan, that's, like, literally almost the first thing that gets brought up is either, like, "I just don't like that Aaron Rodgers," and I always go, "Well, he's not on our team anymore." So
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm getting tired of it, but at the same time, I'm like, "I know." And, like, it started, like, last year when he still wasn't on the team, I was like, I know
Mhm.
he's, like, a little weird, but, like, he's a good football player, and now it's
Yeah.
progressed like, yeah, he's a weird guy, and he says some really questionable things sometimes.
Yeah. I honestly personally believe, like, once he retires, I don't think we'll ever see him again. Like, and I'm not just saying, like,
Off the
for
face of the
football.
earth.
I
Yeah.
think he will be completely off the face of the earth. Like, we
But,
will
like, do you
never
feel like
hear,
he
see.
almost likes the negative attention in a way?
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Yeah,
any
absolutely. The
attention's good attention,
attention,
like, you
the
know?
attention, and that's why I'm saying the pride thing. No one has ever come back in the same season for like, for tearing it. So it's again the attention because you're right. It will be so talked about. Like he was talked about at the beginning of the
Yes.
season when he tore it, and now he'll be talked about at the end of the season when he comes back from it. And so it's just he's had this whole season. But it has been really fun watching all the Jets play or not players, but the fans just tweet so negatively like fire Hackett and they
It's like,
bench.
"Oh, that's weird." I feel like we've been here before.
Yeah, and the fact that they put Lazard as a healthy scratch on Friday, like,
It's
ooh,
fun.
maybe he's.
It's I saw, like, a tweet, like, someone tweeted out about, like, the stats of all the guys Rodgers basically, like, wanted.
Mhm.
Not good. It's not
Yeah.
looking good. And it's
No.
like, I feel especially for, like, Cobb, I feel bad. I like
Yeah,
Cobb. What did he
I
do
love Cobb.
wrong? Don't
Yeah.
get him involved in this.
Yeah, well, even other players, like I saw one like that also, but one that included Mercedes Lewis and also Robert Tonyan. Again, just again, well, they're with the Bears, but no progress, no
Nothing,
nothing,
yeah.
nothing name worthy. I heard Tanyan's
No.
name one or two times, and it was only because he was blocking. And they were like, "Oh, Tanya with a block," and that was like it. But it it's crazy to see the fact that, they put all this time and effort into Rodgers and for nothing, like,
Mhm.
not good.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty, but, like, it is the Jets, so it's like
Yeah,
it's right up their
yeah.
alley.
Yeah, especially for how much crap their fans were talking all off season, like, "You don't know what you lost, and maybe if you treated him better, he would still be your quarterback," and
Like,
now they're
no, we
turning on
we
him.
know.
Yeah,
We know what we
not
lost.
surprised, not surprised.
Do you feel like in 5 years from now, Jordan Love will still be our quarterback?
Ooh, that's tough.
That's a really hard question, isn't it? Especially because I am the one who writes the
Yeah,
questions
you
for this
didn't you didn't
show.
ask
I
this.
throw that in there, but, like, let me just sprinkle a little bit of that in there.
A little bit of chaos in my life.
I love chaos. I thrive off of it.
That's so hard because I feel like if he plays like the first half love or like how he's played the past 2 games, I could see it, but I could also see it if it goes the other way and his interceptions to touchdown ratio just goes out like the wazoo and stuff. I could see it not being that way. So I think it just kind of depends on what they have. He'll definitely be our quarterback next season, and I potentially could see the season after.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
saying he's gonna be our starting quarterback for at least 3 seasons.
mhm,
I really do because I think it's gonna at least take 2 seasons to get a feel, and then let's say after this season and after next season, let's say it's just really bad and we don't want him to return, I think we'll almost still keep him because we'll be
mhm.
having to work on a new
New
quarterback.
quarterback.
And
Yeah, with the
again,
system.
I do not wanna get a quarterback out of the draft in, the first round,
Mm-mm.
it's not working for a lot of these teams.
Yeah. Like, CJ Stroud was a anomaly, because he's incredible. He's doing really good, but a
He's
lot of
doing
these
really
other
well,
players
yeah.
are not
It's
doing
just I
so
feel like it's
hot.
gonna come down to, who's gonna be a free agent around the time that we're making a
Mhm,
decision. Do we see that as, a golden ticket or, a better opportunity? Yeah, obviously, if he plays like he did in the first half, he's gonna hang around.
mhm,
I still feel like if that is the case, let's all since we're playing the Chiefs, I'll throw it in there, it'll be like an Alex Smith situation. He'll be good enough to get us to
mhm.
playoffs maybe here and there, depending on how shitty the rest of our division is. Um, so, he might get us to the playoffs here and there, but that's gonna be it.
Yeah. Like, we
It's
don't ever progress.
no. And that's kind of how I see him being as a quarterback, and I really hope in, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, we can look back at me saying this and he can prove me wrong. I would love
Yeah.
that. I would love
Yeah.
nothing more than for him to do fantastic. I
Oh,
really would
absolutely.
love to just only
Yeah.
have, 3 quarterbacks almost my whole life.
Yeah, it's been really nice. And like I'm right there with you. Like I think it's a lot of fun seeing how he's playing. I love seeing the camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, with the teammates, like how they have his back and they were like, "Yeah, we were telling you he was him and y'all just weren't listening." Like I love that they're standing up for him. So I think it's just going to be, can he continue on, doing what he's doing and continue learning. So yeah, I'd love for him to be our quarterback for the next 10 years because again, I don't want to
Because
go
that means
spend.
he's doing something right.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, we did bring up the Chiefs because we are playing the Chiefs.
Hmm.
Um, Sunday night. Let's start with this. Just how confident do you feel in us with that game?
I don't know. I'm feeling kind of confident, which is always me, but I don't know. I feel good about it because of the fact that we've been on a good rolling path, and I feel like the Chiefs are here.
On a
So I'm
downward,
wondering
yes.
if we're going to kind of meet here,
I
and that way.
definitely think our current skill levels are we're in very similar situations. The only
Hmm.
difference is that their quarterback is much more seasoned and better than ours.
Yeah.
Obviously, he is a better quarterback than Jordan Love. Um, but our defenses are both keeping us in games. Ours,
Mhm.
unfortunately, our offense just hasn't been strong enough to win us games, and theirs
Mhm.
has been able to
Has.
figure out a way. But yes, as the season's been going on, like as weird as it is, the receivers are getting worse.
Yeah.
Ours are starting to show up a little bit more. I mean, at least the past 2 games, but theirs are like getting worse.
And it's crazy because the fact that like they're the Chiefs, like they're the defending Super Bowl champions, and yet they're not playing, like to that caliber. So, I
There's
mean,
not
I
many teams playing to that caliber this year. Honestly, this has been a really shitty season of football.
it really has, yeah.
There's been just
You're
some bad
right.
football.
And like the
Injuries
Eagles,
out the wazoo.
yeah, the Eagles shouldn't be what their record is. The past 2 games they've gotten bailed out by the refs. So, like, I think it's really anybody's game because I know some of these seasons you're right. Like there's like an outstanding winner, and you're like, oh yeah, like for sure, like they're going to be the Super Bowl champion. But everyone's kind of mid.
I
Like,
couldn't even tell you who I really feel like is gonna be in the championship games.
mhm,
Like, I mean, I feel like if I was to pick, like, right now, gun to my head, I would put the Cowboys and, like, the 49ers in there.
okay,
Um, in the AFC, what, like, Ravens? Like,
that's who I was thinking was the Ravens.
Ravens? But,
Yeah,
like, who are they playing?
nobody's. Yeah.
I because I'm like I mean, the AFC last year, I feel like was so much more dominant than the NFC, and it was, like,
Hmm.
obvious. And this year, it's hard to tell, like, who's actually more dominant. Um, oh, I guess the Eagles. I could see the Eagles in there.
Yeah. Well, I think the funny
Well,
thing,
not
I,
for the AFC, obviously, but, like, for
for
the
the NFC,
NFC. I could actually maybe instead of the 49ers because, like, they have looked really not good in some games, like, maybe
hmm,
the Eagles slide in there. I think the Cowboys are doing well, as much as I'm sure you hate that.
yeah, no, absolutely. Like I've said from the beginning of the season, I'm glad that we're not playing them because Dak has been like on a roll, either 3 to
Yeah,
5 touchdowns a
he's on
game.
all 3 of my fantasy teams, so I'm
Oh,
really pumped
you're
about
winning.
this.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty well right now.
I think for the AFC, I could see it being like, as weird as it sounds, maybe like,
Dolphins? You think they'll slide in there? Oh.
I don't know. But
I
the
could
fact that
see
we're
honestly, but I could see the Chiefs just, like, sliding in just
yeah.
because they find ways to get in when they shouldn't.
Hmm.
They find
But you're
ways to win games that they had no business of winning because they played so terribly.
yeah, the fact that we're a 5-6 team and we're sitting at eighth, like
It's
that's just to
embarrassing.
tell you how bad the football season is. And
It's
tonight
just
we have to root
embarrassing.
for the Cowboys because we need Seattle to win because right now they're sitting in the 3 spots also.
Mhm.
So, but it's funny, but you're right. Yeah, this has been a really weird season. I don't know. Yeah, maybe the Ravens and the Dolphins, that could be a really interesting game. Because like you're right, like the Dolphins, they scored what, 70 points on the Broncos, but then lost a couple games.
They're
So
super hit or miss. They're usually miss against winning record teams, unfortunately,
hmm,
which the playoffs are gonna be winning record teams. I mean, at this point, actually, who knows?
yeah, no, who
But,
knows?
uh, I don't I don't know. It is really hard to be like, who's gonna actually be there. Obviously, it's not gonna be us. I love us, but it won't be us.
Yeah.
Um, so do you actually think we're gonna win this game?
I do. I really do. I feel really confident about it. I don't I don't really know. I think it might be like another one of our low scoring games. I mean, like if we, around 20-ish points is what we've been really like, consistent with. But
Mhm.
I think that if they can get it together and our defense gets rolling, I think we'll be okay. I think the other thing is that they just have to not be afraid to tackle the quarterback because I'm getting so frustrated with them. Just Mahomes, especially. Like Mahomes right now is the golden boy. You can't tackle him. You can't touch him. If he's running, he's fair game. Like he's fair
Yeah.
game. Like I'm like
Um,
throw him around like a rag doll. Just frustrating.
I so if you're so optimistic, I'll be kind of pessimistic. I could see this game going one of 2 ways. And unfortunately, the way I'm leaning towards is not good. So, I think the one way it could be, yes, very close game. I actually almost see us still losing in that close game situation, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Um, I think that again, like their quarterback is better than ours, their tight end is better than ours, their
Yeah.
kicker is better than ours.
Yeah.
So pretty big factors there. If it's like a close, like let's say like 13-17 game, I think they're taking it. I
Yeah.
also could see this, unfortunately, being the game that Kansas City is like, what the fuck are we doing? We are
Mhm.
better than this. And the Packers to them would be just the game to get
To
their
turn 'em
shit
around them.
together. It would be
Yeah.
the one where it's like, oh, there's the Chiefs we've been waiting for all season.
Mhm.
And I'm almost thinking that that can happen. Like I'm just like feeling it in my gut.
Oh, no.
And it's killing me because I don't want to live here if that's the case.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna need to take, like, a 365 days off, boss, sorry. But
Yeah, like, I can't come
he's a
in.
Raiders fan living in Kansas City, so
Oh,
he's gonna be like, "Deal with it." I live with it
yeah.
every year.
Oh, yeah. It's you're right, like, it really could go one of 2 ways, like, it could be super close and they still take it, or it could be the game where, and I love to talk about my girl Taylor, but the games where she's been in attendance, Kelsey has done significantly better
If
stat-wise,
if
and
anything's gonna happen and they're gonna score a lot, just throw it to Kelsey because he's on my fantasy team as well. That's all I ask.
I just I can see her because now she's done touring. I can see her being at the game on
Well, she was
Sunday.
saying she was supposed to be because remember, like, Simone Biles was like, "Well, I'm gonna be there too."
Yeah. So
Oh my
we'll
god, Taylor would tower Simone Biles. I actually looked up her height because I was like, "She can't be that small." She could fit in my pocket.
How small is she?
Dude, she's like 4'7".
Ooh, what? There's
Dude,
no
like
way.
dude, it was like 4'7", like, it is not a lot. Let me look it up real quick.
Oh
How
my.
tall is Simone? 4'8". Dude, I was over 4'8", I think, in 3rd grade. I'm not even kidding.
That's
Because by
crazy that
6th
she's
gr
that.
by 6th grade, I was like 5'7".
Wow.
So,
I
like, I'm
think
like, I don't remember ever being that small, but
I
I
think
bet hide and seek was awesome.
oh yeah, no, I think Taylor, she 5'11. Let's see.
She's really tall, like, she's taller than me, she's, probably, like, 5'10", 5'11"-ish. She's, like, model height.
5'11.
Yeah.
That would be interesting them standing next to each other. I would like that.
I would like to see Taylor Swift give Simone Biles a hug and how low she'd have to
Yes.
kinda crouch down. I think Simone Biles is fantastic. I think she is such an athlete, and it's awesome.
Mhm.
It's just so tiny. It's
It's
cute.
funny
I wish I
watching
was
her.
tiny.
I know, I do too. Now that you say that she's 4'8", I'm like, "That's so cute. I wish I
I
was
know,
that
because I bet,
tiny."
like, everyone looks at her and is like, "Aw."
Oh,
People
yeah.
look at me and they're like, "Oh, this is a dude." And they
You play
hear me talk
basketball?
and then they hear me talk and they're like, "Oh, this is a dude." Like, just a dude with really big boobs, that's all.
It's your claim to fame.
Yeah, I did play basketball though, thanks for asking.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever we're tall as a female. Did you play basketball?
Like,
But
"Oh, you should play volleyball."
I saw a lady today and I was like, "Oh, she was tall. She was real tall."
Oh, there was a waitress we had in Minnesota, and, like, she made me feel small, which does not feel often from a girl. Like, she was, like, 6'2" in her, like, regular Converse shoes, and I was like, "Holy shit. You go, girl." Like,
Yeah.
especially when I see, like, tall girls that can, like, wear it. I'm
Mhm.
like, "How do you do that?" Because, like, I slouch to feel small, and I have
Yeah,
back problems
because of it.
because of it, and it's, like, literally, that's the reason. I'm like, "I would like to be tiny too." Like, I don't wanna be little.
Yeah, I
And now I'm
think 4'8" would
massive.
be fun. 4'8" would be a lot of fun. Because how tall are you?
I'm about, like, 5'9".
5'9". See, yeah, I'm at 5'6", 5'7" on my driver's license.
I used to be 5'10" on my driver's license. I was like, "I'm, like, 5'9.5". Like, I don't need to
You're
round
like,
up.
"I wanna make myself tinier,
Yeah, now
not
I wanna be
taller."
smaller. If anything, I am lowering the weight.
Yeah.
Minus 10 pounds. And the cop looks at me and is like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like, "Ah, no, the photo just makes you look bigger. Camera adds 10 pounds," you know?
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Yeah,
That's
you're
good
like,
shit.
"No,
Yeah.
it's not really." Yeah. I
Um,
saw
I, oh no, go, go, go.
Okay, last thing. I saw a TikTok and it was a girl talking about and she was like a heavier set girl and she was talking about how she'll be watching the games with like her friends and they'll be like, "Yeah, that's a big boy weighing in at like 295 pounds." And then she's like I'm 295 pounds. And like the way that they're literally like, "Oh, he's massive, he's huge, he's this."
Um, I live there. I like live in that feeling of when people are like talk about a guy being like so big or so much weight. Like, let's get this really real for a second. Like, when they talk about how like TV really does like do a number on females growing up.
Mhm.
Um, it was so hard growing up, and people like, especially more older like shows, like early or late '90s, early 2000s, they would always like make fun of someone for being fat, or that would be like a defense. It'd be like, "Oh, well, you're bigger," or something like, and it would be a
Mhm.
joke, and everyone would laugh, and it was meant to be funny, and it's like cool. And here's this like girl who wears a size 6, like getting called fat, and I'm like,
Yeah,
cool, never been a
fantastic.
size 6.
Yeah.
Someone of, like, my height is very and, like, again, my boobs, they're big.
Mhm.
So, it's hard to be under 200 pounds.
Yeah, because of
Like,
your height.
just being, like, so tall, like, it's going to be difficult, and so, like, it was always, like, so hard, like, listening to
Mhm.
that and, like, seeing people, like, make fun of like, a girl being like, "Oh my god, like, she's 220, she's pushing it," and I'm like,
Mhm.
"I would love to be 220."
Yeah.
Like, I would kill someone to be 220.
But you're right, like, the taller you are, the more you've gotta
The more
weigh
the more
because
mass I'm gonna have.
yeah, the really tall basketball player that the San Antonio Spurs got, he is I don't know how to say his last name, give me 1 second, it's Spurs okay, he's Wembanyama? So I did the math on him, so he is 7'4",
Yeah, and
which
he's like
is
185
massive.
or whatever.
So, yeah, he's 209. So if you take 7'4", which is wait, hold on, we're gonna do
Oh, his
math.
BMI is not
So I think I did the math already, which I could be wrong, but I think when I did it, it was like per inch, he weighed 2.5 pounds per
a
inch.
and it's and that's not how it should be. Like, I mean, it's hard because he probably has something where it's difficult for him to put weight on. Some people
Yeah.
do. Some people are just tight. Like, I have a friend, she's about 6 feet tall, thin as can be,
Mhm.
and she eats like shit.
Yeah.
Like, but she just doesn't put weight on, like and, like, here's me being like, "Oh, lucky you," but then here's her being like, "Cool, I wish I could gain some muscle mass, or I could wish
Yeah.
I could gain a couple of pounds because I look sick." And it's so it
Yeah.
really does go both ways, and it's hard,
It
unfortunately.
yeah,
Just
and I think it
life is a
was
nightmare is what it comes
yeah,
down to.
I was just really shocked that because when I saw how tall he was, I was like, "He doesn't weigh a lot for being that tall."
Well,
So you're right, like something
my dad was telling me, so, like, he's 6'5", and when he was in college or high school, one of the 2, but he was about, like, 195, and he was, like, skin and bones looking, like, he was tiny
wow.
and stuff, like, he had muscle on him, but, like, he looked tiny at 6'5". This man is almost a foot taller than my dad, and I'm like, "I turn sideways, I can't see you," like, "Oh my god."
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's tough, but, let's dig ourselves out of this, like, depressing conversation that could go on for hours, I'm sure.
On
Uh,
how media's changed women's body image because it's bad.
just body image in general for anyone.
Yeah.
I'm sure men are feeling the same way, but, anyways, back to the game. So, if you think we're going to win, what do you actually think, like, specifically we need to do to win or avoid doing?
Missing extra points and field goals would go a long way. I think catching the ball would also go a long way.
Pretty sure the Chiefs fans are saying the same thing for their team.
Yeah. So I think those 2 things, I will say the past 2 games, we didn't hurt ourselves with the penalties, so I felt like that was really good. There
Mhm.
wasn't really any stupid penalty calls or anything that should have, you know, not been called. But I think, staying active with it, and I think also if we happen to go into halftime with a lead, like, you have to come back out, like, what is it all titled?
hungry. Like,
Yeah,
just freaking do something. Like,
yeah,
try and go get some scores up, get some insurance. If we beat a
mhm.
team 70-20, cool.
Yeah, I'd
Like,
love that. I'd
don't
love
be
to embarrass
scared
them
to
on Sunday
do
night.
that.
Yeah. What about you? What needs to go right, or what do we not need to do?
Um, I think we need to come obviously, we have to come out strong every game, but I would love to score first,
Mhm.
regardless of if that means we get the ball first or if that means, like, Chiefs lot like, we stop them and, like,
Yeah.
hold them. I want to score first, ideally a touchdown,
Yeah.
because I think this will be such a defensive game that getting ahead early would be great. I think that we need to stop Rice because besides Kelsey, he's the only one that's showing any kind of consistency for them this
Mhm.
season. Um, so if we can, and he is like active because I think at one point he was like listed as questionable, and he was activated today as healthy. Um, because so many people I feel like are wanting to double team like Kelsey, but
Yeah, they leave him
he's
open.
making plays, and honestly, the rest of the team isn't. But I can also see MVS being like, "This is my game."
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And so they're gonna like give MVS the ball because he's gonna wanna make these plays and he's gonna show that he can catch the ball for them again. But to earn some of that trust back, it was like we went through completely with him. He did
Yeah.
the same thing with us. So like when it happened, I'm just like,
Oh,
yeah, and been
nothing
there, done
new.
that. Yeah, saw that. Sucks, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Um, so that would be like the biggest thing I would say.
Yeah,
For
I
I
can see that.
mean, but that's just easy stuff. I'm obviously I would say like let's have our play calling be similar to the Lions game that first half.
Mhm.
I want us to come out with like something different.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was
Something
when
that's
we
built for our offense that we have, not just
yeah.
something that like has worked in the past for other offenses. Like we are too young to just use whatever basic thing there is.
I think doing something similar, but yeah, I think sending Watson down, 50 yards and having him catch the ball, I think that really set the tone for the game. So you're right. I think if we come out strong and score first,
Mhm.
we have a good chance of winning. But I think, yeah, we have to score touchdowns. This will not be a game that would be potentially won by field goals. Like it has to be the touchdowns.
Yes, like we need to get and also turnovers. If you get
Yeah.
turnovers, make something of it.
Yeah. Don't just
Don't just waste some time off the clock just to punt it again. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I boring you?
no, I'm sorry, it's me.
No, I'm just giving you shit. I woke up at like 5 a.m. unprompted today. So I am actually exhausted. And it's a miracle I haven't yawned. I don't want to keep talking about it because last time this happened, it never stopped
Oh my
for
gosh. Yeah.
you.
Yeah. We'll be okay. We'll be
No, it's gonna be interesting.
No, I think so too. I will say it was really funny the other day. I decided to set my alarm for 3:30 in the morning because I wanted to get Starbucks before going to work. I don't know why I thought 3:30 was the time to get up when in reality I didn't need to get up till 6:30. So whenever I woke up at 3:30, I was like I was like, "What is going on?" And then I was like, "What the heck?" And so then I'm like, I don't know what part of me on Tuesday night allotted me 3 hours to get Starbucks and go through the line and make it to work on time. I really don't
So
know. So
ballsy.
I know. I was like, "Ooh, that was really dumb. Really, we're not doing this again." So I made sure last night that my alarm did not go off this morning at 3:30 because I would have been really upset.
Ugh, that's rough. But um, so yeah, I mean, I guess that's what we have for the day. Let's hope the Chiefs game goes better than what I am thinking and goes more towards the
Mhm.
way that Emily is.
That's the goal.
Because it is going to be public in front of everyone at
Mhm.
the Sunday night game. So, hoping for good football. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I won't
Yeah,
even
good
say I'm
football.
like begging for a win. I'm hoping for good football.
Yeah, I can see that too. So, well, Tori, you want to get us out of here?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, follow us. Our usernames are on the screen if you can read. Emily Johnson, two Y's, three N's, Tori Piat. And of course, go ahead and hit follow on Game On Wisconsin's account on Twitter. And everyone have a good rest of their week.